What is up? What is going on? My name is Arvind Ramakrishna and welcome to Driven to Draw. Sometimes I was just thinking the other day, wouldn't it be cool if I had like some sort of accent, like a British accent? So sometimes I could just come back and say, welcome to Driven to Draw, my name is Arvind. Hello, my name is Arvind. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So today is going to be a different episode. We're going to have a tutorial for you, and I'm going to be drawing with a Sharpie marker. And a lot of people get intimidated with the Sharpie marker because you can't erase. You end up starting to lay down your foundation work with a Sharpie, and before you know it, either one, you get bleeding throughout the entire page, or you are just not comfortable with it because you're not able to do anything if you make a mistake. In fact, once you commit the line, it's there, and it's there for good until you rip up the sheet of paper. But that's not going to happen. So what we're going to be doing on this demonstration is I'm going to draw a convertible. Nothing in particular, nothing really fancy. It's just an exercise. And it's an exercise because I just got these cool Sharpie markers and I decided, well, I might as well just start to use it. Now this video is going to be about a full 12 minutes of real-time sketching. So there's not going to be any sped up video here, and I'm just going to be explaining through the entire process as I sketch along. So hopefully this will be more helpful to you. Okay? So without further ado, let's cut to the video. Arvind. Hello, Arvind. I'm going to work on that British accent. Hello, this is Arvind Ramakrishna, and welcome to Driven to Draw. As I said earlier, what we're going to do here is we're going to start off with drawing with a Sharpie marker. I got a set of these, I think, a couple weeks ago, and I thought, okay, might as well start to put it to some good use. This is going to be full time, which means I'm not going to do any kind of speeding up of the video. So let's just go. Now, people hate drawing with permanent markers. People hate drawing with permanent markers because you can't do any erasing, and it's intimidating for people. But and it was like that for me too. I started off really hating to draw with Sharpie markers, but because there's so much hate in this world, I decided to love Sharpie markers. But honestly, people get intimidating because they're not used to using Sharpie markers or using permanent markers, and it's all about practice. So practice indeed makes perfect. So what happens is that the intimidation factor that you may have had previously starts to go away because you now have sufficient amount of practice to be able to say, well, all right, I'm going to make some mistakes here, but it really doesn't matter. And the other thing that happens is that as you start to draw more proficiently, you end up seeing that you can draw faster and more accurately. So what happens is that even if you do make a mistake or mess up, then you can just stop where you're at and just throw the paper away and start over and just crank away on the next sketch. None of this stuff is really supposed to be something for you to go and frame. It's just really for practice, and that's how you have to look at it, is that you're not trying to perfect something when you are on the journey of learning to draw. Everything is scrappable, so to speak. So what I've done is I'm just doing a 3/4 view, and I don't draw, or I haven't really demonstrated much as far as doing convertibles. So this is going to be my one of the first convertibles I just decided to draw. I don't know why I haven't done it before, actually, when I think about it. I've done it in school and stuff, but for some reason I haven't done very many videos with convertibles, so maybe I should do that. Or maybe it's just they take a little bit more time. But this sketch didn't. This only took about 10 minutes or 12 minutes or something. So what I'm doing is just laying down some basic lines and major graphics and stuff, and even as I'm drawing the tire, I really don't care if it's a permanent marker. I'm just making sure that wherever my tires are being laid in, I just work the construction lines into the sketch. So that becomes kind of part of the aesthetic of the sketch, I suppose. A sort of draw-through technique, and I'm sure most of you have heard of that term of draw-through. It's private school. When you go to some of these private art schools or design schools, it's that technique of drawing through your line work. Alright, we're going to add some spokes here. Some 5-spoke action here, or 6 spokes. Looks like I can't count, but alright, 6-spoke action here. And what you're going to see, I'm just dropping in some shadows and indicating some details to bring some depth into the wheels, and then I'm just going to shade in inside the wheel and just pop those shapes out. Those are pretty thick wheels, so already I see I've not done it quite correctly. They shouldn't be that thick. But see, this is what happens when you draw with a Sharpie marker. You make a mistake, you're pretty much screwed. That's okay. It means you just keep drawing. Just keep drawing. Just keep drawing. I don't know why I said it that way. I think what happened is that just the other day, in fact, yesterday, I was watching Finding Nemo with my kids, and I don't know if anyone has seen that, but I'm a huge fan of Walt Disney flicks. I used to just love I used to just buy them all. Knowing that I'm going to have kids, I decided to buy them so that I can watch them with my kids later. But there's a scene in Finding Nemo where they start to say, you've got, I think Dory, is the character, and they're trying to rescue the fish out of the fish net, and she's going, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So my kids just repeat that all the time. Anyway, I just wasted 30 seconds or a minute explaining that, but I got a character line here. I'm just gonna add just some rough surfacing here. So we have this indentation right at the top, a typical character line that you see. I'm just gonna shade that through. And then I add a shadow, a cast shadow from the body of the car. I'm just going to now shade all this other stuff in. That's the other thing about the black or the Sharpie markers. This is I think an indigo blue or a dark blue marker. But when you start to draw with markers, it's a different technique because you can't really rely on the gradations of your pencil or even a ballpoint pen that allows for a little bit of line weight. You're pretty much stuck with the same value of every line that you're placing on that paper or on that page. Meaning you got to be a little bit creative. I'm not going to shade any of this stuff in. I'm just going to draw the car and just outline it as it is. But what happens is that you can go thick to thin. It's not like you can't go thick to thin. You just have to be very careful where you apply the pressure, because you can get a big blob of ink through here. The other thing that I'm using is a different kind of paper. I think it is the Hammer Mill laser paper, so it's a little bit expensive. It's like a 28-pound paper, I think. Is it 28 or 24? I think it's 28. So they're pretty thick, and they take the marker really well. There is a slight bit of bleeding on the other side of the page, but it's okay. It's just got such a brilliantly smooth surface to work with. It's like drawing on air. It's really nice to kind of feel the page and to be able to experience that as you start to sketch. So you don't feel that resistance or that grit that you would typically feel on normal paper, which is good too, and depending on what medium you're going to be working with. But when I'm working with the Sharpies, I really enjoy this. It's really nice. This paper is really cool to work with. I like the feel of that surface. The feel of that surface. Alright, so I'm just shading this in because it's giving me now my bold graphic, as you can see. I'm just going to add some more depth to the other side. The other thing that I see as a problem as I'm looking at this is just the fact that the proportions, I think in the front, it would have been nice to bring out that nose a little more forward, or if anything, kick that windshield back. So I feel like I've sort of constrained myself way too much because I was trying to fit it in the page. So and when I do this, if I decide to sketch this thing over again, or if I do an overlay, I'll probably dial that nose or that windshield back, because I think it's a little too far forward now. But there's absolutely nothing I can do about it except to just keep trying, Alright, we're going to shade in the bottom here. And then we're just adding some details here to the headlights. So what you should really get out of this in terms of accuracy is just to, well, I won't even say accuracy, I would just say that just pay attention to how I define the graphical elements. So it's not so much about the design and the shape of the car, it's just the how am I emphasizing the graphics. So when you see a car go by, there's so many characteristics that define that vehicle, and a lot of that is going to be that shape of that grille, and then the headlamps and the fog lamp area. All those areas together really help to define the character line. They all kind of define that car. Alright, so I got the door cut line. I'll just take that through. It's not bad. Not too bad. Like Mercedes, like. I bet you anything, I kid you not, this is what's going to happen. I'm telling you. Now, because I've mentioned the fact that I felt that front is a little bit too short, you're going to have some wise guy that's going to comment on YouTube. He's not going to watch the full video, or he probably would have watched the full video, and then he's going to come in and say, that front end is too short. You always have that one wise guy that's going to say something. But that's alright. It's all good. It's all fun. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time on Driven to Draw. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, don't you forget to subscribe. Subscribe to this channel if you felt that you learned something and that you're enjoying this content. And if you did not like this video, don't come back again. And don't tell me that you didn't like it. It'll only hurt my feelings. We'll see you next time on Driven to Draw. Have a good one.